came across an organization that was working with the school districts in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, called 100 Black Men. These successful black men made the decision that they were going to work for the success of their community from inside their community. And it felt like it would be worthwhile for successful Alaska Native men to come together and have a dialogue on where we're at and what should we do for our own communities. I thought on that idea. I talked to a number of successful Native men and ultimately came to the decision that yes, I do now have the energy to take on a new project like this.
A big part of what Patrick Anderson, our executive director, has had a vision for providing an outlet to our communities and to our men in particular. I think there's a lot of opportunity for men to be proactive in deciding who we are and what we're meant to do.
Here we are today with about 40 successful Alaska Native men having a dialogue on exactly the things that I had hoped we would. How did we become successful? How do we help our community become successful? Do we have the resources that we can help bring to doing that as a Native community?
I'm here today to listen to a bunch of men talk about where are we going, and we've lost our way in a very crazy world that seems to be shrinking with globalization. But the indigenous people of Alaska have a lot of wisdom, and some of us don't even realize we have it until we start speaking, and then we're telling stories from our grandfathers and our uncles and our grandmothers and our aunts. There's wisdom woven in those.
As a teacher, I speak to my students about the importance of finding yourself. And what I tell my young people on a daily basis is make it happen. And that's the big thing. We're trying to help these young people become successful.
The physical accomplishments of position, power, influence are not as important as living a good life and sharing. You can't be a community of one, you're a community of many. And that when we start a dialogue, when we discuss things, when we work together, we can find solutions to just about anything.
You know, and what's happening today with the men's dialogue is recognizing the problem. I'd like to see our Native men becoming alcohol and drug-free to the point where they can now be responsible for their families and themselves.
This is just the beginning. It's the beginning of a dialogue that will, in a sense, mature over time. Just the mere fact that we're starting this conversation is important.
What's going on in the Native community right now is that I think a lot of people are trying to find their way of happiness living and working in a Western world. And that's what this dialogue is about. We have men who have navigated that very successfully and are now passionate about how we help our younger people find that success. We do have a lot of talented men in leadership. We have a lot of resources today. We control our own health systems. We control a lot of our own businesses. We have opportunities that have been realized in the last 10 years that haven't been there before.
As a whole, the image we've allowed ourselves to be sucked into is one of desperation and fear and frustration, and that leads to so many problems, whether it's drugs, alcohol, criminal rates. Have faith. We have a lot of difficulties, we have a long road to go, but we have such a bright future and we have so much potential. Just because today is a dark day doesn't mean tomorrow is going to be dark, and please always strive to do better. Reach out to a young person, reach out to an elder, ask questions, make sure that we're all working together, because we have so many resources, but if we don't discuss, if we don't share, if we don't ask questions, we're not going to get to where we need to be as Native men and as a Native society, whether you're Tlingit, Aleut, Inupiaq, Yupik, whatever. Always try to work and strive together.
If there's a passion for knowledge, if my son is willing to read, whether it's Alaska Business Monthly or the Journal of Commerce or a novel or Anchorage Daily News, but every day fills himself with information, and every day wants to fill himself with information. That's the gift that I hope I can give him, because he'll be his own person. My daughter will be her own person. But with knowledge, I think they can shape the world a little bit better and maybe carry on the legacy that I think I'm carrying on from my elders.
The one message that I can leave to the youth for the future is that you have the talent, you have the ability. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't insurmount challenges if your mind isn't there. If you don't read real well, you can. If you don't do math real well, you can. If you don't play sports real well, you can. You may never be a Michael Jordan, you may never be an Albert Schweitzer, you may never be an Einstein, but if you put the same amount of time and effort that they put into it, you could get pretty darn close. Never give up hope. Find good adult mentors. Learn to recognize the people who care for you because they truly care for your advancement as a person and not for their own particular needs. And form good relationships. Your peers who are going off into a dark path, but don't follow them there. Try to be a good example for them by pursuing your dreams and passions with great energy and a lot of purposeful effort.